One other thing you can do outside of starring it and putting it in that menu on the left for your favorites is you can also add a shortcut to things. For this example, what I'll do is I'm just going to show you if I have my own folder and in my shared drives, I have this VR kits folder, which is shared with several other people. But what if I want to, if I'm working within that folder, I want to also be able to access my own materials quickly from that same space without having to toggle back and forth. One thing I could do is with my own VR kits folder, I could use the organize section and I could do an add shortcut. And then what I could do is find that shared drive and I go into the shared drive for the VR kits and I could click that I want to add to that folder. Now, there are other people that are part of that folder. And so for this particular one, maybe I don't want to give access. I want to be able to easily access it from that shared space. So I'm going to hit add shortcut. And what that's going to do, shortcut added to VR kits. So then we'll go over to our shared drive. And here is my VR kits folder. And then as you just saw, we can change the permissions so that everybody that is part of this group can still see all of the shared materials, but the VR kits folder that is mine, I can either share it with them and they could see that shortcut and access it, or what I did was, again, making it so that only I can access it, but at least then I have this shortcut and this way to interact with my materials within the shared space. Outside of that, the other thing that we could do is once we have a folder, and this would go for documents too, for when you're organizing anything, you can move the folder around. So let's say that I wanted this to actually be not on my main page, but to be a subfolder of another folder. Well, one thing I could do is I have my integrate this folder that Jeremy and I constantly use every week. And so maybe for this one, I want it to go into that. So I'm just going to do organize. Now, one thing I should point out is you can take and I can drag it and drop it in there, which is going to be a bit quicker. But you're also going to have where you have folders inside subfolders and it's going to go even further than that. So like if I go into integrate this, I have a bunch of other folders in here, which also might have folders in them. So you have, this whole process that you can set all these folders up in. So rather than dragging it and dropping it, maybe I choose to right click and organize it. I am going to move it into the integrate this folder, but I'm going to move it into a subfolder in there. So I'm going to just move this one here. We're going to go to my drive here, and I need to find that folder. So I'm going to go to my regular integrate this. And then let's say I want to put it in my miscellaneous here. Click move there, move. And then now it's within my integrate this folder, miscellaneous, and there it is right there. Okay. Then the last thing you can do too is if you are completely done with something, you can look at the details of that folder if you want to, if that interests you. But let's say I'm completely done. I don't want this folder any longer. I'm going to move that folder to the trash. And now I'm just going to go back to my drive and that's cleaned up now where I don't have that example folder in there. So you can make folders. You can do all sorts of fun color coding with them. You can make subfolders in those folders. You can make subfolders in your subfolders. It's kind of like Inception, like a dream within a dream within a dream type of thing. You can do that. So, but again, it goes back to however you want to organize your own materials. That's going to be what works best for you, but hopefully you find some things that could be useful if you haven't tried it.